So people ask me all the time, what is with this restriction stuff? What's going on? I don't get it. Well, let me show you. When you take a square root of a number, remember, square root means you have an index of 2. So if you think about that, having an index of 2 telling you that you originally had pairs of numbers. And those numbers have to be exactly the same. Case in point, let's just look at a square root. Square root of 4, nice and simple. You know that 4 is 2 times 2, but you also know that 4 can be negative 2 times negative 2. Notice that both of these are the same. And both of these are the same. They have to be the same number over and over and over again. So what does that mean? Well, that comes into that nice little thing we call the square root principle, also known as Cosmo. That's right. So when you square root 4, you have to tell me it's plus or minus 2, which means that they both have to be either minus or plus. That's really important. But does that work all the time for all of them? Well, no. Actually, if you look at something like the cube root of something, since this is odd, you're actually looking at triplets. Case in point, look, if you look at the cube root of 8, right? Cube root of 8 could be negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. All three of these are the same. And if you notice, negative 2 times negative 2 is actually a positive, and a positive times a negative gives you that negative value. You can never have that with an even root. Case in point, again, take a look at square root of 4. Square root of 4 has to be two numbers that are identical. You can never have a negative 2 times a positive 2 because that will never give you something that is square rootable, right? That gives you negative 4. It does not give you this original back. So that's really, really, really important at this point in time, okay? You gotta solidify that into your brain. So if you're an even root, or I should say, if you are an odd root, no restrictions. There's absolutely no restrictions because you can have a negative times a negative times a negative give you a negative, you're okay. But when you're looking at pairs, you can never have two numbers to give you a negative, or four numbers to give you a negative, or 8 numbers to give you a negative. You see what I mean? You can never have those being, look, if that was negative 2 and negative 2, great, you get a positive 4. You can never make this negative. So there's the restriction right here. And that opens up a whole new can of worms that we're going to look at when we get to questions like A and B here coming up in the next podcast.